Good afternoon, my movie-loving brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday afternoon on the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel, where we talk about all things movie news, TV, and other screen-related news. I'm, of course, your humble host, Key Toothman. I am joined today by my friend and colleague, Shane Wallace. Shane, how you doing on this lovely afternoon, buddy?
Hey, doing great. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be back.
Yeah, for sure. It is really beautiful today, right?
Oh,
like,
no
I
kidding.
mean, God, who wants to do this show when we need to set up an outdoor studio?
I like that idea on your front porch.
Sure. Yeah, front porch studio, just a little small thing. Get some candlelight going. Yeah, for sure, would be pretty cool. But yeah, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Like I said, if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can have your movie news when you need it, where you need it. Yeah, like how we like to do things around here is we like to go over a few main topics, and at the end of the show, we like to wrap up by taking any comments or questions that you guys leave down in the chat. So make sure you guys are leaving your comments or questions down there, and then make sure you're sticking around to the end of the show so you can make sure you get to see those comments and questions be answered. All right, with that being said, with that down, we're going to move right into our first main topic today, and our first main topic today is this. Shane, we talked recently on the channel not too long ago about the Spirited, I guess, teaser. I was under the impression that it was some sort of trailer, but it appears that, alas, I'm wrong again. It was a teaser. So now we have this Spirited trailer that is dropped, and we just checked it out this morning. Me and Shane gave it a watch. Look, I love Ryan Reynolds to death. I grew up loving Will Ferrell. I think, Shane, you love Will Ferrell as much as I do, probably even more. So yeah, I want to love this movie, but this just looks dumb, man. This looks terrible. It looks like one of those movies that's great for a blockbuster shelf. Might be a fun watch during Christmas, maybe, because there's a lot of downtime and there's not a ton of new great Christmas movies out, and maybe worth giving it a shot at some point. But man, I tell you what, it just looks silly to me. It just looks a little too silly. And and it looks like they're like you pointed out, Shane, that there's not as probably as much Will Ferrell as we want in it either. It seems like.
Well, that's not true. That's not until I read the plot of it. So Will Ferrell's definitely a main character.
Okay.
I didn't realize until we watched this one. He plays the ghost of Christmas Present. And within the Christmas Carol, you have 3 ghosts, obviously, that arrive, including the setup and the end. So really, you're talking about, each ghost has a screen time, less than third of the movie, obviously.
Sure.
But for this one, it looks like they're flipping that story on their head. And
right.
Now they're trying to correct Will Ferrell, the ghost's life, because he's having issues.
Right.
He can't even correct those in the afterlife.
Right.
So he needs Ryan Reynolds' help.
That makes sense. We all need Ryan Reynolds' help for something, don't we? Yeah. But yeah, again, guys, to me, this just looks a little too over the top, too cheesy. That being said, there's a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies like that do very well and are very successful. Shane, I don't know if you ever had a chance to check out Free Guy. Did you ever have a chance to check that out?
No, it was streaming, and I had a chance, and I just didn't want to watch it. It just seemed too stupid.
It seemed like one of those movies that I would maybe like. It's like, I want to love this. It's like Grand Theft Auto, but, real world. It's a comedy. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's made by Disney, so they had all these rights to all these other properties to make fun of and use. So, like, I really wanted to enjoy it, but overall, it was just too over the top and stupid. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is just like that, but with Christmas. So I'm looking forward to it still to just a little certain extent because, again, I love Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. So I'll probably give it a try at some point. I'm not going to rush out to see this, even if it dropped. I mean, it's dropping on Apple, guys, and I'm not going to be there first day to watch this. But at some point, during those Thanksgiving times when we're all at home and there's nothing to do, nothing to watch, it seems like something that my wife or I would be like, hey, let's check this out. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, this just looks too stupid for me. But that being said, Shane, give us your thoughts. You had a chance to check out this new trailer for Spirited. We had talked about the teaser a couple weeks ago on the show, obviously. But what do you think about this new trailer?
I think I'm even less excited than I was before. I was, probably
the opposite of a trailer's job.
Yeah, no. I mean, it wasn't made for me. I'm not a family guy. I do love holiday movies. When Thanksgiving comes around, that's when we start our Christmas movie marathon. I doubt this one will be making. I mean, it might see an appearance this year because it's new. If we've got nothing better to do, it is 2 actors we both enjoy. But I don't see this becoming a staple, at least for us. I mean, the musical aspect already. And, these 3 guys, the writer-director, Sean Anders, Will Ferrell, and Ryan Reynolds, I mean, they're all talented, funny guys. I like a lot of stuff they do, but I feel like, most of the stuff I like Sean Anders from, like We're the Millers or Hot Tub Time Machine, are R-rated. They get a little dirty, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so now we're seeing the cleaned up version of his humor, and we'll see if it works. You can report back to me if it works.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a Christmas movie, so I can see a lot of people checking it out just because why not? It's a new Christmas movie. It's got some top tier celebrities in it. And, you're right. With Ryan Reynolds, he can be in some loads of crap. Will Ferrell as well. I mean, both of these guys, it's not a slam dunk when their name's attached to anything. No. So, but
you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you never know.
But when you get that one, though, right, you end up getting like Talladega Nights, or you get Semi-Pro, or you get, there's lots of movies like that Will Ferrell does, but then you get, like Land of the Lost or something that's like the complete opposite of that. But who knows? I guess this movie could end up being that good. What do you think? Is it possible?
I maybe. I mean, well, people, it's a family comedy.
Right.
People need that right now, too. Sit around.
And it's on Apple streaming, so I can see it having, like, some success. But, I mean, for this thing to be, like, sitting at a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes would blow my mind. That's for sure. For sure. But yeah, I mean, are you going to, when it comes out, Shane, are you at least going to give it a watch?
If you let me log into your Apple, then I might watch it.
Lucas.
Like I said, we always have our staples that we got to watch. I always watch Temple of Doom on Christmas Eve. I got to do Die Hard, of course, Lethal Weapon, Scrooge. We watched Scrooge.
Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
We watched Scrooge like 5 times during Christmas season. So, it's got to be a pretty good movie to make that rotation. And Scrooge, we're already watching a Christmas Carol type adaptation. I don't know if you've seen that one. That's the Bill Murray one.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen it. But yeah,
oh man, I love that movie. We quote that thing all year round. So it's going to be hard to not only do I want to sit down and watch this movie? No, but I already have a Christmas Carol movie adaptation that I love dearest to me.
Right, that's a classic.
That's a classic.
I mean,
so
that is a good movie.
And I'm sure every family has that. I have family members. This is a good one too. It's the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, mine's the Christmas Vacation.
There
was
you
what
go.
our family's was for sure. Griswolds. It's always the Griswolds for us.
I hate seeing cats get hurt, so that one's a tough one for me.
That's hilarious. But I'll probably check it out at some point, but I'm not going to rush out to see it. But yeah, guys, let us know down in the comment section below. Have you guys checked out this new trailer for Spirited? Again, I know we talked about the teaser a couple weeks ago, but this is a little bit more of a look of it, more in depth. Again, just looks a little silly to me, but let me know down in the comment section below. You guys excited for this? Have you seen the trailer? Did you like it? You hate it? Definitely let us know. With that being said, we're going to move on to our second main topic today. And our second main topic is me and Shane's thoughts on the cabinets of curiosities that we have seen so far. Now, currently, I have seen episodes 1 through 3. If you follow me on Twitter, if you don't, you should. My @name is right down there. Is my handle, @KeatonToothman. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I have been tweeting a little bit about Cabinets of Curiosity. I seen Gilmore tweet about it, that it's sitting at like a 91%, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes, which is amazing, and I'm happy for the success of this, obviously. I love these little horror-type anthology things that kind of bring me back to my what set me in this chair today, which is, the Twilight Zone and all those things like that. So had a lot of excitement going into this series. Me and my beautiful, lovely wife and daughter went to Colorado last week, so we weren't here for the show, but while we were there, I had some time in the hotel to sit around with nothing going on, and I thought, hey, it's a good time to throw on this Cabinets of Curiosity. We're getting towards the end of October, and I want to check this out while I can. So I did. First episode has Tim Blake Nelson in it, who I love. He plays the leader in the MCU. He's a great actor. He's very underappreciated and maybe even underrated. The episode was very intriguing at moments, but overall, I did not enjoy the episode. I feel like it fell apart the longer it went on, and the more they tried to get into what was going on, the more it fell apart, which is like the opposite of what you want a story to do, right? A second episode, I come in, I'm thinking, okay, slow start. This thing still got good reviews, so I'm guessing it's going to pick up. Second episode was the episode with the rats at the funeral home. Man, again, had lots of intriguing parts and things that I really wanted to enjoy about it. But overall, the longer it went on, the more I felt it fell apart. It just became a little too silly, I think, and unbelievable, which is not what you want in something like, again, if you think of something like The Twilight Zone, almost everything there is so unbelievable, but still believable, where this does not do that. I don't believe... I don't want to spoil anything about the show, or the episode, but overall, I didn't love it. So that was it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm on vacation. The last thing I want to do is watch a bunch of shit. So I didn't watch it anymore. I got home just a few days ago. Last night I did a late night show with Lucas because I felt bad that I hadn't put anything up for anyone in a while. So beforehand, I decided, you know what? Fine. I'm going to throw on the third episode because the reviews are still good. So maybe it's going to get better. And man, I I started into this episode wanting to hate it because of how much I hated what it do, and God, I love this episode. This episode really reinvigorated my want to continue to watching it. Shane, as you know, and most of you the channel should know, if you don't, I have some sort of weird obsession with isolation and being isolated and away from things and away from people. And yeah, this definitely did that. You know, we had the guy with the bodies in the warehouse by himself. Oh, if there's no phone, but there's a gas station down the road and the phone works there. Like, come on, man. This is amazing. This is the exact setup I want. It's creepy. It's silent. It's old school. You know, you got the tape recorder that you hit with your feet and it's on reel. It's, you know, like everything about it I thought was really cool. The actor's name, Shane, help me.
Murray Abraham.
Yeah, Murray. Oh my God! I mean,
incredible.
Yeah, amazing performance. I legitimately believe that dude's dying of cancer. Mm-hmm. He was great. And the guy that played the officer, I don't know who that was either. But you know, at first, Shane, when he first popped up, I was like, "That's Donald Glover." Like, just for a second, Danny Glover. I was like, that's Danny Glover. Just for a second, I was like, that's Danny Glover. But no. But yeah, he was great too. And it turned out to be, as I kind of thought. I will say that the one maybe critique I would have about it is that I was able to kind of pull what the thing was of the show. I kind of guessed in the beginning, but not in its entirety. And it was, like I was telling Shane, very much like The Thing in a way. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It kind of hit everything that I want, in something scary. It was also like that perfect length to where it felt kind of like a short film or a short movie, but it wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. I really loved the length of it a lot. And I love the ending. It ended, and as it went on, it wrapped things up as it went on, which is like the opposite of what the first two were doing. Again, as it was going on, it just was unraveling itself and making it more unbelievable and saying, what is this and what's going on? But this did the opposite, and I really, really enjoyed this episode. So 3 episodes in, I think this is an 9 episode series. Like I said, it did reinvigorate me. I'm going to check out the next episode today. Hopefully, I can get Shane. It doesn't sound like he's too interested, but maybe I could get him to check out a couple more. But if not, I'm definitely going to let you guys know my thoughts moving forward on this series because it's getting a lot of good reviews and praise. And Guillermo did a lot of work to go out of his way to make sure these great horror directors and producers of great horror content were able to bring their own real thing to each and every one of these episodes, whether they be good or not. I think that in itself is really cool. As a huge fan of horror, I love that, and I want to see more things like that. So yeah, but that's kind of my take on it. Shane, you've had a chance to check out, I believe you said 1 and 3. Somehow you managed to skip around 2, you lucky bastard. But yeah, tell me, man, what are your thoughts? Tell me what you're thinking about this whole thing.
Well, first of all, the production quality and the direction is top notch. Yeah. I mean, they're incredible looking. I really like the whole idea of the Cabinet of Curiosity and how Guillermo sets it up, very Hitchcockian, but each cabinet has its own differences. And it also applies to the show, so it's kind of like that Twilight Zone type motif. So they've honored a lot of traditions here. So I did enjoy that. And I also like the first. I watched 1 and 3. So the first one is Lot 36 or something. I think that's what it's called, where he buys a storage unit. Yeah. And I thought the setup was great. I thought the atmosphere was good. But I was like with you. I thought after a while, not only did it get silly, but I'm not a big fan of people spoon-feeding information to me. Right. I like the act of discovering. Right. And I think that we got that with the third one. I thought that's what made the third one so much more appealing, was the discovery rather than, hey, here's this information. Right. And so by the end of it, the first episode, you kind of saw the ironic twist coming because it was like, God, they beat me over the head so many times as this guy's a bad guy. He's a racist. He shouldn't be sympathized with. He's got to have some comeuppance.
Right.
So we knew by the end, that twist, it was like, okay, we kind of saw that coming. And I also thought by the time, like when we first discover, again, I don't want to do any spoilers, but they go into this room and they discover this thing, very Lovecraftian, very a Cthulhu type creature, which I thought was cool. And I found out that the 5th episode is also based on a Lovecraft episode.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, you could tell that H.P. Lovecraft is very influential to this series. So if you're a H.P. Lovecraft fan, definitely check this stuff out. But I also thought by the time they showed the monster and it's going down the hallway, I was laughing. It was just like...
And that's what I was saying. It became silly. Yeah, for sure.
So, it kind of took some of that fear away. So, honestly, I wasn't sure I was going to keep going with this series. But I was like, it's an anthology. Let me at least give me one more taste. I saw that F. Murray Abraham was in Autopsy. I watched that one. I'm a huge fan of him, especially in Amadeus. He is astounding in that movie. So I put that on, and it was much better. It was what I was looking for. Again, it was kind of this mysterious, you gather clues. What am I in for?
Right.
And again, the performances were great.
Yeah, right.
I'm really the only deterrent and big caution for everyone. These episodes are graphic.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't mention, Shane, and it's something we didn't talk about at all. And I was curious to get your take on, because I know you're not a big fan of the body horror, but that 3rd episode really brought it, right?
I looked over to my wife and I was like, when this episode has more body horror than the new Hellraiser episode does, maybe there's an imbalance. I
felt like I was watching what's his name that I like?
Cronenberg?
Yeah, I felt like I was
David
watching a Cronenberg film. Like I mean, there was and I forgot to mention this in my take, but yeah, there was points where it's so again. I think literally the balance of the actor, right, is what made you be able to handle it. Well, because he was so, I'm sorry, I have to do this to you.
It was definitely the performance that kept you going, and like with Cronenberg, his body horror is at least original. This was just an autopsy. It was just very scientific, and I felt like I had this problem with the first episode too. It feels almost like they feel like, this isn't scary. Okay, then we need something disturbing. And so, by the time the last autopsy, again, I don't want to spoil anything, right, but when he's conducting that one, all the shock of that had already been gone because I just saw him dissect 3 previous bodies. So it almost kind of desensitized me. I almost wish they would have, saved the more disturbing imagery for the big climax rather than kind of sprinkle it through. Because like I said, the first time you see him open up and he's snipping the ribs and you hear that, you're just like, oh my God. What am I watching?
Right.
But by the time when that's supposed to be tension, because you find out something by the end,
right,
by that point it kind of lost its tension because it was like, this is like the 4th or 5th body I've seen
Sure.
inside. So no big deal anymore. So I really feel like they could have held back on some of the more disturbing stuff for that climax. That was the only complaint I had about it. Was that it's just sometimes when they felt like maybe it's a little slow, let's go with some shock.
Yeah. Well, I mean, moving forward, do you think you would give another episode of this a try?
I do because, like I said, episode 5 is based on a short story by Lovecraft. That's super
so
cool.
That sounds,
And The Outside has Kate Micucci and Martin Starr in it, and I'm big fans of both of those. So.
And I know you're a big fan or know who Rupert Grint is, but that's the kid who played Ron Weasley.
Okay.
And he's like kind of been retired from acting for a while, so it's very interesting. It will be interesting to see him back as well.
Nice.
And some of these other actors. Yeah, I'm a huge Martin Starr fan. Who doesn't like Martin Starr? So
yeah, and I saw Crispin Glover's in Pickman's Model. I mean, that guy's so
Where's
weird.
That dude been?
Well, I mean, he's just too weird to work with. I mean, so I have to see him.
He's like pre-canceled. They're like, we don't want to have to cancel him, but we know we're gonna. So let's just not use him.
Well, when you steal the show in a David Lynch movie, you got to be out there. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so hopefully you'll give it another chance and you'll check a couple more episodes out. I think I'll check at least 4 out tonight. Maybe that's something we could do is check one out every couple of days and just talk about the newest episode that we have currently seen. So yeah, but yeah, other than that, guys, what are your guys' thoughts on the Cabinet of Curiosity? I'm sure if any of you guys have seen it, you guys have probably binged it all and seen it all. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. I mean, are you guys liking it? What's your favorite episode? Did you hate the first couple? Did you like episode 3 like I did? I'll be very curious to see what you guys think. So definitely let us know down in the comment section below. With that being said, guys, we're going to move on to our third and final main topic today. And our third and final main topic today is a big one, Shane, because today is Godzilla Day, right? It's National Godzilla Day. And this article here that I have pulled up is coming to us from Collider. And yeah, the original company that made the first original Godzilla movie, is it TOHO? Is that how you say it?
That's correct.
I believe that's right. As TOHO has announced today on Godzilla Day, that this time next year on Godzilla Day, exactly 1 year from this date, we will have a new Godzilla film, guys. This is exciting news. This is cool. I want to read a little bit from the article. If you guys don't mind, just bear with me. Today, in celebration of Godzilla Day, TOHO has announced the long-awaited next installment in the Godzilla franchise. Award-winning Japanese filmmaker Takashi Yamasaki has been announced to be pulling triple duty on this untitled film. He will be directing, writing, and serving as a visual effects supervisor. Not much is known about the film yet, but it is expected to be live action, thank God. TOHO also announced that the new film has already finished filming and will be released in Japan exactly 1 year on the next Godzilla Day, November 3rd, 2023. This is exciting news. This is awesome. First of all, I didn't know it was Godzilla Day. I didn't know there was one. Of course there's a Godzilla Day, right? There's always something. I'm guessing November 3rd, Shane, was the first day that...
That's correct.
Right?
Godzilla premiered in Japan November 3rd, 1954.
There you go. 1954, all those years ago. I think TOHO made the Shin Godzilla, right? So this will be the first live-action movie that they made since the 2016 Shin Godzilla. And Shane, I don't know if you had a chance yet. Matter of fact, we were just talking about this not that long ago. I was at your house. We're sitting there, and on your TV is Godzilla from... had to be around the 50s or 60s, right?
Yeah, I think it was from the 60s that was on.
Yeah, and you asked me what's your favorite Godzilla movie, and I said probably Shin Godzilla. And that's the last film that TOHO made. So this is exciting. This probably is going to be the best that they have to offer right now, right? Because technology is at its best. Everything is at its height. We just had Kong vs. Godzilla here in the States not that long ago. So I think, the hype for Kong and Godzilla and those kind of things couldn't get more than they are now, so it makes sense to be doing this. It is crazy that it kind of just went under radar. We know nothing about it. It is, it did happen in Japan, so I mean, it makes maybe a little bit more sense, but yeah, it's already finished filming, so they're already working on this post, and they already have a release date for next year, and all that kind of went under the radar, right? And we didn't know a ton about that. So yeah, this is really exciting news, and as a huge fan of Godzilla and Kong and all of those things, I'm excited to see this. I would definitely check it out. If it's November 3rd in Japan, it'll probably be like a couple weeks later or a couple weeks earlier here in the States. If not, maybe it'll be on an app. I don't know. This will probably be something that I can't see in theaters here in the States, but if I can, I would definitely go check it out. And if I can't, I will see it as soon as it comes to streaming, just because, again, I love Godzilla. It's Godzilla Day. This is awesome. It's exciting news on an exciting day. Shane, I know you're a huge fan of Godzilla and all things Godzilla related. You're hearing this news. I know, obviously, you're a huge fan of the original movies, right? Because you're just playing them at your house. So you own them, that means, or you have access to them. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this whole Godzilla situation?
I think this is super cool. Coming out next year, it'll be the 69th anniversary of Godzilla.
You're nasty.
So it's it's perfect, right? I read a little bit more about it. I don't know if you saw this, but it actually takes place post World War II.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a period film,
Oh, wow.
which is really going to bring back, the homage to the original. And I love the original Godzilla, not only because it's a monster movie, not only because I love miniatures, and not only because I get to laugh at a giant man in a ridiculous suit fall around these things. It's amazing. I love Godzilla. But I also really like the original Godzilla because of the atmosphere of the time, of the nuclear fear. And when Toho made Godzilla, they actually made another nuclear fear movie that Kurosawa made. Honda and Kurosawa, two big Japanese Toho filmmakers, were friends at the time. And there was a fishing boat that was too close to Bikini Atoll when they did the nuclear test. That's how SpongeBob SquarePants was made.
Right, sure.
So, this boat comes back, and we find out there's all this radiation on the boat, and it sent fear in Japan. Oh my God, And so it was really cool to see these two different creators' approach to it. Kurosawa's, which was definitely more cerebral and down to earth, and then Honda's, who was just like, we're making giant monsters now, and it just took off. And I mean, I can't imagine a film that exists without the Godzilla films, because they were so essential to not only to horror and sci-fi, but just eventually they were able to influence all filmmakers.
Yeah, for sure. Or like, I know you haven't seen Kong vs. Godzilla, Shane, and I know you're not the biggest fan of
heavy CG.
Yes, but Shane, dude, whatever CG was meant for Kong vs. Godzilla, Shane.
They did it great without CG. They made how many Godzilla films?
I understand that. I understand that.
CG?
But this just, on the big screen, they can make it look so massive and real now that, I mean, it is just mind-blowing. It really is.
To me, Godzilla doesn't need to be real. It's an allegorical tale, and it's
That's
silly.
why I like that Godzilla movie where you kind of never see him. What's that called?
What, the US 98 Godzilla?
That's a great movie.
the Roland Emmerich Godzilla, which was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw.
What's the one that Abrams did? Right?
Oh, that wasn't Godzilla.
I know, but it was
it was a giant monster found footage.
It was Godzilla, right?
What was that called?
Cloverfield, right?
Cloverleaf or Cloverfield.
Cloverfield. I'm pretty sure that movie was definitely Godzilla. I mean, it couldn't be Godzilla because it couldn't be Godzilla, but that was the idea, right? Was that it was like Godzilla was out there, and that's what I think I was thinking of. Is I think that's what, back to what you're saying. You don't even really need to see him, right?
Oh,
Just the thought of this, or there's like some shots in Cloverfield where you just see the shadow, like coming over a building, and you're just like, how massive this, and it just keeps rising, and just that in itself is like, oh my God, what the hell? Just get back in, get in the car, get away, right? And so I agree to a certain extent that you don't need to see Godzilla or Kong, but man, it's pretty cool to see them rocking it out and punching each other in the face on a giant IMAX screen.
Did you also see they're bringing back Kong versus Godzilla in 2024? There will be a second one.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that. Hopefully, I think it's gonna be like them two teaming up against someone else again. So hopefully it's not them fighting again, which would feel weird since they teamed up at the end of the last movie. I can't remember because it's been so long, but there's a post-credit scene where we see like Mon Mothra or something, right? And I think that's kind of what we're moving forward to. Also, Shane, I know that you don't know this, but there's a scene where Kong gets basically a Stormbreaker.
Oh, really?
Like a version of Stormbreaker that is like powered up with lightning.
Hilarious.
And he uses it to fight Godzilla.
Oh my God.
Thor, Kong.
This is what we've come
need
to.
More. That's right.
This is your
That's
guys'
right.
fault. You demand this. This is what you demand.
And we demand more. Kong 2 versus Godzilla 2.
Oh,
bring it to us.
We're going to live in a day where it's going to be like, The Shining 2 is going to come out. And, I'm going to be like, hey, but, Kubrick didn't have any. Shut up. We want Shining too.
Right. Yeah, that's the way it works. That's the world we live in. But yeah, I mean, this is exciting news for you, though, right? You're going to definitely check this out.
I'm more excited about this than the Kongs, because to me, it really feels like they are going back to the essence, to me, what made Godzilla great. You know, going back to the period post-war, which I think is smart too, because that's the atomic age affected so many people, and for me, I grew up in the very little in the 80s. I was born in 83. So I experienced maybe 2 years of my life that I can remember of any type of nuclear threat because of the Cold War. So, there was no nuclear threat for me, like my parents or my great-grandparents or my grandparents, and why, films like Godzilla were so potent and allegorical to them. But, we've come, sadly, to a day and age where now nuclear threat is now back on the table. I seem to hear about it every week in the news, and it was something that I figured that humanity's past this. There's no way we'd ever nuke each other into oblivion, but I guess not. I guess, we're dumbasses because we're humans. Right. And so, once again, Godzilla becomes, applicable to what's going on in this day and age, and they're kind of honoring the original film. I think this is a slam dunk. I mean, I can't wait for this.
They're not kind of honoring it. It says here in the article, Shane, it says, it is important to note that this film will be part of the continued continuity established by the Toho franchises that original creator of the character established. So yeah, this will be in continuity with all that other stuff you've been watching. So that in itself is pretty exciting. As we were talking about Halloween ends and these other franchises and honoring their original characters and stuff and their original continuity, and not just saying 7 movies don't exist. And in this case, it'd be like what?
Yeah, like 20, 30,
20 or 30.
And it's a big one. I'm a huge Akira Kurosawa fan, and so of course I'm a huge Toho fan because most of his films were made under that banner. So it's great to see in 2023 Toho having an international presence, that we're all excited about a Toho film.
Yeah, for sure. Right, exactly, because it's something that we haven't seen, like I said, since 2016 is when Shin Godzilla came out. And this is great marketing, right, Shane? Godzilla Day. I mean, they line this up perfect. This is exactly the kind of marketing that I want to see as a film fan. It's not a trailer a year before I see the movie. It's just, hey, the movie's coming. It's not coming. It's not we're talking about it. It's not we're looking for a director. It's done. We've already made the damn film, guys, and it'll be here next year on next year's Godzilla Day. I think that is really exciting, especially for fans like of the franchise, of course. But I hope that more places could get an understanding of the things you need to do in order to have better marketing. So, but yeah. That being said, guys, let us know down in the comment section below. What are you guys' thoughts on Toho making another a go at a Godzilla movie? I'm super excited. I can't wait to see it. And tell us what you think about Godzilla Day. Happy Godzilla Day, guys, everybody. I mean, that's Godzilla, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, we got to do something better next year. Next November 3rd. We got to do something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll be watching this, right? Trying to.
Hopefully.
Right?
Pirated.
Right, for sure. But yeah, guys, like I said, let us know down in the comment section below what your guys' thoughts are on this. With that being said, guys, that's it with our main topics today. We're going to move on to any comments or questions that we have down in the chat. I'm going to send it over to Shane for that. Shane,
okay,
what do we got?
Lucas Farney has a couple questions. He wants to know, this is a 2-part question, favorite Ryan Reynolds movie and favorite Will Ferrell movie.
So I think we actually answered favorite Will Ferrell not that long ago on the show.
Did we both say semi-pro?
No, I said you did. I think I said Talladega Nights, and I have to stick with Talladega Nights. I mean that I want to say semi-pro because I love basketball. I love Woody Harrelson. I love everything about that movie. But man, there's some times in that freaking NASCAR Talladega Nights movie that I still,
Some of the funniest
I still
moments
quote
ever.
to this day. I mean, one of my favorite parts is, and I still quote this line today, is when, I'm sorry, what's the actor's name?
Danny McBride?
No, the other one that plays in Step Brothers with Will Ferrell.
Oh, something Scott or whatever.
The main guy, his stepbrother.
Oh, John C. Reilly.
Yeah, so John C. Reilly takes his wife and his
John C.
family, and he's at his house, right? And Will Ferrell's now single and alone and depressed, and he gets a phone call. It's late, and John C. Reilly's at his house, and he's like, "Hey, man, how do you use the radio while the TV's going and you got the popcorn machine on or something like that?" And Will Ferrell's like, "Why do you need to listen to the radio while you got the TV going?" And John C. Reilly goes, "Because I like to party."
And you know that's
use
improv.
that line to this day.
And you know that was improv.
Well, one of my favorite things is I'm not sure what to do with my hands. I don't know where to put my hands. Like, I mean, there's just so many. Then there's the great line where they're like, "How do you do it?" He's like, "I just wake up and I piss excellence." That whole little spiel. There's so many little moments in that movie. There's that one with the dad. He's like, "How long has it been since I've seen you, Ricky?" And he goes, "It's been 10 years. 10 years? Oh, God, I got to lay off the peyote." I mean, there's just so many good lines, and there's so many good things. So that was my favorite. Shane, is it still semi-pro for you?
Yeah, if I'm going to put on a Will Ferrell, it's probably that one. But, I love Talladega. I love Anchorman. Probably my favorite moment from Talladega, I love whenever you have the French racer, and he's like, I'll leave the tour now if you just give me a kiss on the face or whatever.
Yeah.
And like Will Ferrell gets like inches, like, "That's sick." Oh, man, I die laughing so hard every time. I mean, he's just so good at playing these characters that are just... if like special needs characters, like they want to be able to survive in the world,
right? For sure, right? That's exactly what Ricky Bobby is.
Yeah, right. But
I mean, if that dude wasn't a NASCAR driver, he'd be a homeless man or something, right?
Right.
He'd be struggling. It's same thing with John C. Reilly's character, right?
Mm-hmm. But John C. He's an actor. He can play.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything. Dramatic comedy.
Shake and bake, guys. Shake and bake. All right, Shane, what else do we got?
Well, there was a second part. Your favorite Ryan Reynolds
favorite
movie.
Ryan Reynolds movie. So I hate to be cliche with it. I will say this. Favorite underrated Ryan Reynolds movie is the director's cut of the Green Lantern movie.
Oh,
love
Lord.
that version of the movie. Love Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan. Ryan Reynolds is a perfect Hal Jordan. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
No, he was terrific as Hal Jordan. It wasn't his fault.
Yes. So, but that being said, I got to go with the obvious answer here, right? And the obvious answer is Deadpool, right? Deadpool's the best Ryan Reynolds movie I've ever seen. I remember when I seen it, Shane, I remember telling you at the time, that's what a comic book movie is supposed to be like. I felt like I was watching a comic book, which is the only other movie at the time that had ever done that to me was Scott Pilgrim. And no movie had ever made me feel like I was physically watching the pages of a comic book. And then later on, Shane, Happy did something very similar to that for me. But yeah, Deadpool, right? It's definitely the obvious answer. Like I said, I think it's if you want a under B answer, I will say the director's cut of the Green Lantern movie. But yeah, what about you, Shane? What do you think?
It's so easy to go Deadpool, right? So I'll look at something different. I pulled up his filmography here, and it's easy to also say like something like Blade, right? That's a good one. But I totally forgot he was in this movie, and he was definitely the best part of this movie. And I didn't even like this movie, but it was Adventureland. Did you ever see that one?
I've never seen. Oh,
it had that one kid. What's his name?
Justin Long.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg. Yes. I have seen Adventureland,
and
we own that.
It was whatever. But Ryan Reynolds was great. He had. I love this idea that he kept using the fact that he played with Lou Reed as the thing that propped him up his whole life, and then it turned out at the end we find out that no, he never even met Lou Reed. So I thought that was a really cool part. That was kind of away from himself. Still, he likes to self-deprecate self-deprecate, but this was in a new type of self-deprecate where he didn't even realize the character realized that it was self-deprecating. So, I'm going to go with Adventureland to stay off of Deadpool, to do a non-Deadpool answer.
For sure. Yeah, it's hard to not pick Deadpool, guys. That's for sure. What else do we got, Shane?
Do you bring back other monsters from the Godzilla franchise?
If you're Toho, no, right? Who gives a damn? They clearly got their own thing going on. There's more of that coming. The last thing you want to do is try to compete in that field right now. These things should be two completely separate things, right? Kong vs. Godzilla should be the thing that Shane hates and wants to spit at. And I totally understand that. And it's the thing that should get people to come out in troves and masses and buy lots of popcorn and stuff. And we love that. But this Shin Godzilla, type of movie, or this new movie from Toho is going to be a movie, man. It should be more like an A24 kind of feel. Give me something real. Give me something different. I don't want to see a big fight between Kong and someone, or Godzilla and Kong, and I already have that space filled, right? So I definitely don't want to see anything like that. You don't bring in, in fact, I would find it hard for me, Shane, to bring in any of those characters, any Mon Mothra, Mecha Godzilla, any other character outside of just Godzilla. You said it's set in World War II. It makes sense that this is a movie, like you said, that works with the fear of Godzilla and the fear of death from nuclear bombings and stuff. I think those things can work well together, and you could tell a real story there of a bunch of people that are in serious fear for so many goddamn reasons, guys. Outside of just bombs, there's a giant monster, and there's all these other. I think that there's a real story that could be told there, and that's what Toho has to focus on, right, Shane? I mean, you don't bring in Godzilla versus Kong into this thing, right?
You make a good point. I mean, I'm a big fan of the originals, so I'm over here going, man, we're going to see Rodan or, Mothra.
Sure.
Although it sounds like they're bringing back Mothra in the Kong series. So it sounds like maybe they're doing that, bring, some of these other monsters there. That's a great idea. Keep it separate. But I was all for it when I saw the question. I was like, yeah, I'd love to see Ghidorah or something in this.
Yeah, for sure.
But you bring up a good point. This is separate, so that makes me want to ask you, and maybe this would work. Would a separate, just a Rodan movie, just a Mothra?
For sure. And I think that's what. Again, this is what WB's trying to do, right? They had the Kong series that worked. They had the Godzilla series that worked. Now they can do a Mothra series, hopefully, and hopefully they build this kind of. What is the name, Shane, for these guys?
Like their specific Japanese monster name?
Yeah. They're a kaiju.
Yeah, kaiju.
And the idea is to build this kind of kaiju world, right? Almost like the MCU, but with, and I think that's brilliant, especially if you're making decent stuff. But you don't need to make good movies at that point. You just need to make good spectacles, right? And that's what Kong vs. Godzilla was. It was a spectacle, man. It was badass. It was awesome. I was mad at everyone I knew that they made me watch it on a TV in the back just because they didn't want to wait to go to the theater. That's how cool it was. Where this is, again, I think it should be the complete opposite. So yes, for sure, I could see them. WB, their plan is to do maybe a Mothra series and then a Ghidorah series and stuff like that. So you definitely don't think, I mean, you wouldn't want to see Toho doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, especially if, like you said, the whole idea is to kind of make it more down-to-earth, realistic, how it affects the people rather than, hey, it's another monster movie.
Right.
Because you're right. I mean, as soon, seeing one monster on the screen, Godzilla, you got to have a lot of faith as an audience member to, go with it, run with it.
Right.
But as soon as you introduce a second one and having them start battling, I mean, it instantly just throws all reality out.
Yeah, it turns into a Marvel type of thing. It's a spectacle. So,
I think that's a great point. WB's got this thing. You go your own way. You make, Toho's Godzilla. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, for sure. I think so, too. What else do we got, Shane?
All right. Last question. If you marathon watch the Godzilla movies, does the 98 Emmerich Godzilla make the list?
All right, Shane, you can start by eating a dick on this topic. That 98 Godzilla movie was rocking, man. I seen that. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. I did see it in theaters, and I remember being mind blown by it, and I always loved it. I will say that I haven't seen it in at least 10 years. I was probably 17 or 18 the last time I seen it. And I remember loving it then too. So yes, it not only does it make the list, I'm watching it first. I'm watching that damn thing first. I love that damn movie. It was part of my childhood. I had a lot of hype for that because, Shane, I don't know if you know this or not, but growing up, my dad and I would stay up late night in the summers because he worked at a body shop, you know, working on cars till late, and he wouldn't get home until 2 or 3. And when we would get back from his job, we would stay up and watch all these old things like Godzilla, like Three Stooges, like Gilligan's Island, like all kinds of things. And so going into that film, the only thing I had was dudes in suits in black and white, you know, smashing on miniatures. So anything that film gave me was probably going to excite me. Again, I was 7. So it has a lot of nostalgia for me. I would probably consider it like I consider the original Mortal Kombat movies. It's more of a guilty pleasure thing. I love it because it reminds me of being young and having those fresh ideas of not knowing what you're seeing, whether it's good or not, you know. But yeah, what about you, Shane? I know that you're a big fan of the...
You know, I saw that in the theaters. I was pretty young too. If it was 98, 15, I guess I was. So I was kind of at that point where it was like, I'm too cool for this, you know. And so I remember...
What?
I remember
At 15?
Yeah.
You cool son of a bitch.
Well, I just remember when I saw it, I was just like, where was Godzilla? You know, I think we got maybe like 10 minutes. And, you know, it's 98. At the time, we thought we had the CG technology for it. So I think I came in expecting, hey, we're going to see, you know, Godzilla ravaging, you know, and it was more kind of like, you know, Jaws or Hitchcockian.
Yes.
You know, they hid the monster.
I like
and so,
that.
you know, honestly, it might be a better movie than I give it credit for. Because, you know, I also got swept up in that hype of hate, you know, when it came out too.
You know, I have a complete understanding of that because there's the new Godzilla movie that fits into this Kong vs. Godzilla thing, right? It's called Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Okay.
And it's like a 2.5 hour, I don't know exactly how long. It's a long ass movie, Shane. And it's about people. And I could give a damn about people. Mm-hmm. I came here to see a Godzilla movie, you sons of bitches. So, but I'm older now. I'm not 7. You know, so it makes sense that your 15-year-old brain, right, was thinking, give me Godzilla,
give me
man.
Godzilla.
I want to see it. Right.
Exactly. And, you know, also becoming a Godzilla fan and watching the first film, you know, that first film is about people. You know,
Yeah.
You know, specifically a family. You know, there's a love triangle and a very, you know, kind of a happy but sour ending, you know, where, you know, the one of the romantic leads has to sacrifice their lives to save humanity. And, you know, so it's very touching. And, you know, coming back, kind of knowing that, you're right. I should give 98 Emmerich's Godzilla another chance and watch it. I liked his Independence Day, and that was just, 2 years after that? So he was still making decent stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but like you said, we just had higher expectations because we thought the CG was there at the time, right? So you definitely want to see, you're like, where the hell is it? We know we can do it, so why aren't you giving it to us? But the truth is, Shane, if you also remember around that time, Spawn came out in movie theaters.
That's
you remember
true.
Spawn?
I actually think that was the year before, but you're right around there.
I love that movie. That movie's one of the best movies ever made, guys. But that movie will prove to you that CG was not nowhere near ready. Right?
I just actually pulled up movies from 1998. Armageddon.
There you go.
So that had a little bit of CG, but again, very limited, mostly set design. You know, the asteroid was a set. You did see some space stuff, and then, you know, of course, the some of the sky effects. Right. Deep Impact, that's another one that's, you know, probably doesn't hold up. And then, you have Godzilla, but everything else very low CG. Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. There's something about Mary.
Right. Yeah, it just wasn't there yet, guys. It really wasn't. So it made sense to make that Jaws kind of movie, man. I really like that movie, man. You know what? I'm going to go back and watch that movie now.
I probably should.
Yeah.
Too.
Now that we've been talking about it, it's been, like I said, I was probably 17. That was 13, 15 years ago when I seen it. The last time I seen it, I might have been 15, Shane. But I still remember liking it then. But again, I may have only liked it because I have a lot of nostalgia and attachment to it, which you guys know how that stuff goes. It makes it hard to hate something when you
absolutely. I mean, I'm a stream video games, as Key knows, and retro video games. A lot of Sega, Nintendo, and there's a lot of that in the retro community. You know, someone picks up a game and they're like, Shane, you like this piece of crap? Oh, well, I grew up with it. Oh, well, that explains it because you have an attachment to it, and you can't see that this game's a turd.
It's terrible,
you know? But because you grew up enjoying it, you have those memories with it.
Right. Yeah, that's why we always say there's a difference between, what your favorite movie is and what the best movie you've seen is, or, vice versa. So, but yeah, I think that's it, right, Shane?
That's our last question.
Okay, awesome, guys. Awesome. This has been fun. This has been a good day. Godzilla Day.
Happy Godzilla Day.
Happy Godzilla Day, everybody. Make sure you go out and destroy a small building. Don't do it for me. Don't say I told you to. Say Godzilla sent you. But yeah, thanks guys for joining. Thanks for all the comments and questions. As always, that's the funnest part of the show, is interacting with you guys, taking your comments and questions. That's why we're here. And we're also here to report movie news. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get that movie news when you need it and where you need it. With that being said, I've been joined by my co-host today, Shane.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'll see you tomorrow.
For sure. We'll be back here tomorrow. Same place, same Godzilla place, same Godzilla time. And it will no longer be Godzilla Day, but we will still be partying like it's 1998. Right? Because that's the year it came out. All right. But guys, thanks a lot. And we will see you guys here tomorrow. Make sure, again, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I see we have at least 3 people in here. Thumbs us up, man. We need those thumbs up. It's good for the algorithm around here, so YouTube knows that people love us and they need more thumbs. We appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.